Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Galenda with a farming gen. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the different chick nurseries that I have made and had made along my farming journey, and I'll also be sharing my experience with you for each chick nursery. Now I'll be letting you know which one I ended up settling with and why, so watch till the end. With that, let's get right into it. Yay! Oh, remember, if you've not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you are notified each time a new video is uploaded. Share with somebody because this information may benefit them. Yay! Let's go. I started out with this basic structure. I bought some mesh and some plywood, and then I made 4 compartments. I separated them with mesh, and down I reinforced with bricks so that they do not pass through to the next compartment. Then I put a plywood at the edge to just shield them from looking outside. Outside is attractive. So I did not put wood on top, though it's something I considered, but I dumped the idea because I did not want them to patch on top. This particular chick nursery had so many challenges for me. It was so open, so the mother hens kept crossing over to the next compartment and pecking. Then of course the plywood was a patch for most of them. Then the chicks would move out or to the next compartment when they got a little bit older. Then it was open. I put this covering because I wanted to shield the chicks from moving out, but you can see how that worked out. Still some got out. Then the biggest challenge that I faced in here was the rodents. I had so many rats. In the night when you just came with a random light and then you put it, you'd think I'm rearing rats. There were too many. So I had to think of another option, and I think that's why I moved on to the second chick nursery that I made, because the first one did not work so well. I had about 70 chickens and they all died. So I decided in the next round to have this structure. It was quite a simple structure, and I used the materials that I had in the first one. And in this particular one, it was more or less a trial. I put it next to my house at the balcony, then I raised it off the ground, and then I made it into like the floor had 2 compartments, one made out of plywood, so that I can dump the food there and then they are able to scratch and then eat, and also for them to have a comfortable sleep. Then I put the second bit, which was made out of mesh, where I was putting the water in case the water poured or anything, it would just seep through to the ground. I also used the mesh because I wanted whatever is scratched off to fall down, and whatever falls to the ground would be eaten by my free range chickens. This method worked really well for me. I got 100% success because I did not have any mortalities. I didn't have many challenges. All these chickens actually grew, and this really worked really well for me. I put a plywood to separate the 2 chickens because I didn't want them looking at each other. Somehow there is that rivalry, so if I keep them together, there is a way they were not thriving in the first chick nursery. So I decided to modify it a bit as a way of trying out, and it actually worked. So I put a little bit of space at the front on top where I would pass the food and the water, and it would get a bit challenging because I would be scratched by the mesh when I was putting in the water and the feeds. Yeah, so that was a very big challenge. And then I had to clean like 1,000 times a day, guys. I had to clean, like I had to keep cleaning the place because the other chickens would come to eat the droppings that were down, and then they would poop there. So I had to clean so many times a day. I later on decided to move it to the side of the house because the cleaning was too much and it would get really messy, as you can see, and they were destroying the place. So I moved it to the side, and it was also okay. The other reason as to why I moved them, because I wanted them to have constant light so that they feed. So that was something that I thought I could try out and see how it works out. that chicken that you just saw was the only surviving chicken that remained from the batch which was raised in the first chicken nursery. So yeah, I really love it. There were 2 that managed to make it out, but the other one was carried off by a random bird. I liked this one because immediately it picked off. It was very, very independent. It was very sharp, like in case it faced any fright or it was alarmed by the cocks around, because usually when the cocks see a bird flying over, they make a sound. So yes, so it ended up surviving. Then I decided to make the third one. I borrowed so many ideas from the second one because it had a good success rate. So I wanted to make it much bigger because I have quite a number of hens and they usually lay at the same time. So I decided to make it much bigger and more accommodative. And this time round I wanted to put doors because I was tired of the mesh scratching me. So I put the plywood, of course. I left that idea and the mesh, and then I made it much more supported and it was still off the ground, and I put a mesh on top. I did not put iron sheets because I knew that seeing as I'm going to separate the compartments with plywood, the light wouldn't be sufficient, so I wanted them to have enough light. I decided to put mesh on top, and I wanted to improvise with canvas I had bought some time back. So I put the canvas on top. So I always remove the canvas in the morning, like I open it halfway, then in the nights I cover it completely, and then I reinforce on top with some wood so that it cannot be blown by wind, or in case of rain, the rain doesn't blow off the canvas. So this particular structure was big enough. I initially thought it would take 6 compartments, but it later took 5 compartments, which were fairly good. And this was good for me because it was in a good location. It had many compartments to accommodate the chickens, and I was really excited about it because the structure was very, 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 very firm, and it was easy for me just opening the doors and feeding, adding water. So I decided to just leave that together with the first one, the second nursery, because I wanted to keep the older chicks in there. Then these ones were for the hens that had just laid. So that is how I managed to do it. As you can see in there, those are some of the chickens that were hatched, and it really worked well. This is a product of the third nursery. The chicks are quite many. I already removed the mother. So my method is, when the mother gets to the stage where she wants to begin laying again, I remove her, then I leave the chicks alone. There is one which actually laid in these chick nurseries. So I remove the mother, then I leave the chicks. By that time they're old enough to keep themselves warm, and they have been taught the chicken instincts by their mother. So I separate them and put them together, and I further separate them according to size. The bigger ones are separated from the smaller ones so that they can all go at the same rate. When they're mixed up, the bigger ones will always disturbed, because I guess there's some kind of pecking order. So yes, that's what I do. If you have any questions or comments, do let me know in the comment section down below, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.